Good morning friends, I am TYBSc from KJ Somaya College. Here last time we start the chapter that is food and starch industry. We learn about some basic concept, that is introduction, food processing, the nutritive aspect, the objectives. Today we are going to learn the different factor affecting on the food industries. First, that is food deterioration. Food deterioration, that is the food spoilage. Here in this lecture we learn about the food deterioration factor and their control. So let's start our topic. Here, before to start the factor which affect the food deterioration, we must know the food which are deteriorated time. Depending on the time of deterioration of the food or time of spoilage of the food are divided into the three types. First, that is highly perishable food. Second, semi perishable food. And third, that is stable or non perishable food. Let me learn the first, that is highly perishable food. Highly perishable food, that is the spoil immediately unless suitably preserved. That means here the food like meat, fruit, milk, vegetables and the eggs which can be highly highly perishable, that means which can be easily immediately spoil within one day. That type of food are called as highly perishable food. Here you can see in this picture milk, vegetables, fish is there. These are the highly perishable food, that means these are spoiled quickly. Second type, that is semi perishable food. Here this includes the potato, onion, nuts and the flour. They can be kept for several weeks in a cool or the dry place, that is called as a semi perishable food. The food which can be kept for a week, for a 1 or 2 weeks, which cannot be deteriorate within 1 or 2 weeks, are called as a semi perishable food. Examples are what? The potatoes, onion, nut and the flowers. Third type, that is what? The stable or non perishable food. The examples are rice, dry beans and the wheat, cereals, pulses. Here this can be stored for longer period of a time. We can store this type of the food for a 1 year. This type of food are called as a non perishable food. Here, but this perishable food which can be resist the spoilage whenever we apply some condition or we process. Here, if this fruits which is kept in a acidic media, that time we can store this perishable food for a longer period. If we kept it in a refrigerator with in a 5 degrees Celsius, that time also we can store that food for a longer period. Okay, here next we are going to learn the characteristic of the food spoilage. That means how we consider the given food is spoiled or not. We can find out whether that food is spoiled or not by characterizing different way. First, we get the unpleasant smell. If the food is deteriorate, then we get unpleasant smell. Next, we get the unpleasant taste, and also the color of that food going to change. You can see in this, in case of in this picture, the banana, this is a fresh banana. This banana get deteriorate, then their color get changed. Okay, and smell also unpleasant. Next characteristic, that is their texture also going to change. In tomato, this is the fresh tomato, but whenever this tomato get deteriorate, the texture also get change, and also moldity is happen. Okay, these are the characteristic of the food spoil. How we identify whether this food is spoil, which can be identified by a unpleasant smell, taste, color change, texture change, and the moldity. Next we are going to learn that is the major causes of the food spoilage. First, there are different causes are there: physical, chemical, microorganism, and the others. Let we learn first. There is a physical aspect or causes of the food spoilage. In that, the first, that is a temperature. If we heat the food at the high temperature, that time what happen, their water content get decreases, and that food get spoil, or the microorganism also increase at some high temperature, and that's why here um, food get deteriorate. Humidity or the moisture, the important category of the food are perishable, semi perishable, and non perishable. That means this is depend on what, the water content. The bacteria are more aquatic than the terrestrial, and that's why in a humid condition the bacteria which can be flourish, and here this, due to that, there is increase in bacteria and the food get spoiled. Also in light condition, which is also responsible for what, the deterioration of the food. Next, that is a chemical factor or chemical causes of the food spoilage. First, that is the enzymatic reaction. The enzymes are the chemical catalysts that are found in all cells. What is the function of that enzymes? These enzymes are break down the plant and the animal tissue, causing fruit to ripen, and also meat to tenderize. Tenderize, that means the meat becomes the soft. If this enzyme activity is what this enzyme activity is allowed to continue, then what happen, this food get spoiled. The enzymatic browning take place when the fruit and vegetable are exposed to the air after being cut. The enzymatic activity is continue when this exposed to the air. Okay, and that's why for this causes what, the flesh to turn brown, the food color going to brown. Yeah, if you say, if you cut the apple, then what happen, this apple which is in contact with the air, the enzymatic activity is going to increase, and that's why the color of the apple get brown. Okay, here for preventing this, we can add the lemon juice to the fruit salad, and also blanching the vegetables are kept in a water until needed. For avoiding this, the enzymatic activity to continue, here we can take our vegetables and the fruit in a water. Then what happen, here there is a no any contact of our food with that of the air, and that's why deterioration get decreases. Okay, there are also non-enzymatic reactions and some chemical interaction which is responsible for the deterioration, but rancidity, that is increasing the acidity of the food, there is also responsible for what, food deterioration, but these are not included in our syllabus. That's why we'll speaking only about what, enzymatic reactions. Okay, next, that is other. Here other, that is insect, rodent, animals, and the birds are also responsible for what, the spoilage of the food. Let me learn first, that is the insect. Here this worm like bugs, Bugs are what? The small bad smelling insect. Fruit flies, moth and the other insect causes the extensive damage to the food and also the man. They can be attacked by the two ways. First, there is a direct damage. In that, what happen? They may cause the food grains and other food products unfit for the human consumption by eating the kernel. What happen? This insect which, which can be eat the kernel that is the soft part of the seed, and whenever they eat the kernel of the food, these food are not capable to eat the man. That means this food get spoiled. Another, that is the indirect method, indirect damage. In that, what happen? The insect can assist in the scattering of the molds, that is fungi, and microorganism, including the harmful germ and the bacteria. They may also transmit the parasite to man and the bird. In indirect method, what happen? Here, this insect which scatter the fungi and the microorganism and the bacteria in the food, and whenever this microorganism goes to the food, this food get deteriorate, and these are not able to eat by the man and the bird. These are the indirect method, and due to that reason, here these insects are responsible for the spoilage of the food. Also, the rodent animals and the birds, they act as a parasites. They transfer the organisms, microorganisms, bacteria, fungi from their body to the food, and whenever we eat that for food, these are very hazardous to the human. Okay, next, that is the microorganisms. Here, this microbial spoilage which can be done by three main organisms, that is bacteria, yeast and the molds. Let me learn one by one. First, that is bacteria. Bacteria are a single celled organisms that are able to reproduce rapidly. They are sometimes harmless and used in making the cheese and the yogurt, you know very well, such as probiotic drink which help to digestion. Also, some important bacteria which is useful to making of the curd. But the bacteria are sometimes very harmful and can be cause for the food poisoning and even the death. The examples are the salmonella are found in a raw meat, egg, seafood. They may causes the diarrhea, vomiting and the fever. You can see this milk get deteriorate due to the action of what? Bacteria. Next, that is the mold. Mold is nothing but the fungus. These are type of the fungus. They settle on the food and grow into a visible plant which look like a feathers. Here you can see these are the fungi which is look like a feather. Here they grow on many food including bread. You can see this is grow on a bread, cheese and the meat. They grow in slightly acidic condition, need some moisture and warm temperature between 20 to 40 degree Celsius. They get destroyed when the temperature is above 70 degree Celsius and can survive in a fridge but not in a freezer. That's why here cheese always kept in a freezer, not a fridge. Mold on food means it is not very fresh. Some molds make a person sick or can causes the allergic reactions. The molds are not harmful, but they are used to give cheese its blue vein and to make a twine. Here the molds which can be grown on peanuts, ragi, wheat can produce the aflatoxins. These are very hazardous, these are carcinogenic. Next, that is the yeast. Here yeast mostly present on the jam jelly like of the product. Here the yeast are single cell plant found in air and on the skin of the fruit. It does spoil the taste of the food but not make it harmful. Yeast grow on a sugary food like uh, jelly, jam, etc. They cannot grow at a low temperature and also cannot survive in a sugar concentration above 50%. They cannot survive in a vinegar and are destroyed by a temperature above 70 degree Celsius. That's why here in a for processed food, vinegar always added as a preservative. Yeast is used as a leavening agent or fermentation in bread making. It gives the required flavor and sponginess to the bread. Yeast is rich source of what? Vitamin B. Here there are some examples of the microorganism which spoil the food, and here there are some type of the spoilage. Here this whenever the milk get dairy product, that is the cheese, milk, which spoil by the microorganism, that is lactobacillus, bacillus cereus, here penicillium. Due to that organism, microorganism, we get the bitterness of this product, souring, sweet curding, etc. In also another example, that is the fish and egg, which can be deteriorated by some microorganisms. Here also you can say canned food, wines also deteriorate due to the microorganisms. Next, that is the prevention. How to prevent that spoiling of the food? First, by keeping out the microorganisms. Next, by hindering a growth and activity of the microorganism. How it can be hindered? By low temperature. Keep the food in a low temperature in a freezer. Drying the food, applying some chemical reaction, and also some antibiotics. Also, we prevent the deterioration of food by killing the microorganism. Okay, sorry. This is about what? The deterioration of the food. Thank you very much. The next lecture we learn about the food preservation. Thanks for watching my lecture.